In this problem, I'm asked to find the equation of a line that's perpendicular to a given line and passes through negative 6, 5. Let's investigate our given line. 2x minus 3y is equal to 6. One way to solve this problem is to identify the slope of this given line. We can do that by rewriting the general form of the line into the slope-intercept form, y equal to mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. In order to do this, we are going to have to solve our equation for y. So I'm going to start by subtracting 2x from both sides, giving us a negative 3y is equal to a negative 2x plus 6. One way that I can solve for y is divide each side by a negative 3. Another way that I could solve for y is multiply both sides by the reciprocal of negative 3, which is a negative 1/3. Remember that I have to multiply both terms of my right-hand side by a negative 1/3, therefore I'm going to put it in parentheses. On the left-hand side, we have a negative 1/3 times a negative 3, which is equal to 1, so I'm left with y on my left-hand side. To simplify the right-hand side, I'm going to use the distributive property. I have a negative 1/3 times a negative 2x, which gives me a positive 2/3 x. I also have a negative 1/3 times a positive 6, which is equal to a negative 2. Therefore, the equation of my given line is y equal to 2/3 x minus 2. This tells me the slope of my original line, we will call that m1, is equal to a positive 2/3. Now I'm going to investigate a line that is perpendicular to y equal to 2/3 x minus 2. One thing that we might remember, that if I'm given two lines that are perpendicular, call these lines m1 and m2. There is a relationship between their slopes. That is, I know that m1 times m2 is equal to a negative 1. Another way that I can look at this is that given a slope of a line, m1, I know the slope of that perpendicular line is the opposite reciprocal of m1. Since I know m1 is equal to 2/3, the slope of a line that is perpendicular to our line is given by the opposite reciprocal, or negative 3/2. We can verify this because when we multiply 2/3 times negative 3/2, we indeed get negative 1. Now all we need to do is find an equation of a line that has a slope equal to a negative 3/2 and passes through the point negative 6, 5. To do this, we are going to use the slope-intercept form y equal to mx plus b, where m is equal to a negative 3/2. We want to solve for b, therefore we're going to substitute in x equal to negative 6 and y equal to 5 in order to find the value of b. So when y is equal to 5, we know x was equal to a negative 6. Negative 3/2 times a negative 6 is a positive 9, so we have 5 is equal to 9 plus b. To solve for b, we must subtract both sides by 9, giving us b is equal to a negative 4. So our equation of our line that is perpendicular to our given line is y is equal to a negative 3/2 x minus 4. We will notice that our answers are all in general form and not slope-intercept form. So I'm going to have to transform our equation into its general form. One way that I can do this is I want to get rid of our denominator of 2. So I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by a positive 2. I now have 2y on the left-hand side. Using the distributive property, I have 2 times a negative 3/2 x, which is a negative 3x, and 2 times a negative 4, which is a negative 8. The last thing I'm going to do is add 3x to both sides. Therefore, the equation of my line is given by 3x plus 2y is equal to a negative 8, giving us B as our answer.